Okay, I'm at 210 Anton Court, Centerville, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that would be concerning to the buyer. Our access is a front outside clean out. It's a normal spot or normal location for a slab like this. The bathroom is just inside. It's in the middle of the house. There's two bathrooms come straight out into this line. The only thing restricting us from inspecting the entire line is this clean out. They put sweeps on them, which only allow us to go from this point out to the street, and that is where most of our issues are. But it's just a note that they put these accesses in cast iron, and you'll see as I place the camera down here how it is the connection is directional. The only other way to inspect it is to either pull a toilet or to get on the roof, and both of those, this is the actual access to the line. And so as we go in, like I said, you'll see how the line kind of turns and basically forces the camera to go one direction downstream. And so you can see sometimes it even messes with the camera there. There we go. It's turning it around on itself. And so cast iron is not a bad, just to talk about cast iron a little bit as we go into it, because it's immediately turning to clay. You can see that. It's clay right past that connection. And so you do have cast iron in the house, and cast iron is not a bad material, but it does have a tendency to get soft clogs easier. And so just a note with things like wet wipes and stuff like that, excessive toilet paper, wet wipes, they can get soft clogs in them easier because of how rough the pipe gets because it rusts. When you get out into the clay, it's a lot smoother. But I always like to make notes of cast iron on my videos just to make sure that people understand that it's a higher propensity of soft clogs in cast iron, just the nature of how rough the inside of the pipe is. So, but as we continue on, it switches over to clay, which is another normal material for this age. Looks like, if you can see the sides on this, that looks like basically it's old inactive tree roots, and so they get kind of covered with grease and stuff like that when they stop growing. Looks to me like there used to be a very large tree out front that has been taken down. I'm not sure how long it's been gone, but I expect to find some root intrusion. There you go. Because root intrusion is probably the number one thing we find in clay lines. And so in most cases, a cleaning, and then without there is some other trees around that you may be within the drip edge or within the area of the roots, but with having that tree gone in the front, you would hope that would, the roots can continue to grow for a few years after the after they take the tree down. It can be a few years, and so the roots can continue to grow, and that's probably what's going on here. Usually I recommend in these situations you have it cleaned, and then maybe take a look. You could always put like a root killer in once a year, like Root X or something similar, and then after about 3 to 5 years, I would recommend having the line cambered again, just to take a look at how how much the roots are growing, if at all, and if you need to adjust that maintenance schedule. And so you can see the roots are kind of following down the pipe here, about 20 to 23 feet. And so it's just something that you'd want to pay attention to. Like I said, as long as it's very common because these connections, and so as long as they're very close together, it's usually like 3 foot They're usually around every 3 feet. The pipes are in like 3-foot lengths, and so there's a lot of connections. And this may be 4 feet, but that's pretty common. And so what happens is the packing at these joints breaks down over the years a little bit, and it starts allowing in tree roots, because there's nothing they like more than water and food all in one place. And so it's very, very common to find root intrusion getting in at the joints like this. It's probably 80 to 90% of all the clay lines I do. If there's a tree in the front yard and it's got clay pipe, it's almost a foregone conclusion that there's going to be some root intrusion. But this doesn't look bad. Structurally, the line looks really good so far. Just a little bit of roots. Really, the main ones are right around 20 feet. And so may be about it. Once you get out far enough away, then there's no root intrusion. And really, the line itself is looking really good. Okay, we made it all the way to the main. It's 70 feet, and the line looks great. I didn't see anything of any major concern as far as structurally. Overall, the line looked really good structurally. Just had a few spots, mainly between like 20 and 30 feet, or where the root intrusion was. And it looks like it's getting to the point where you probably want to have it cleaned initially before taking occupancy, and then from there, like I said, maybe do a chemical treatment once a year for a few years, and then have it re-inspected. Overall, again, the line looks really good. So I think I'm going to go run some water. That way we can watch it. So I'm going to pause the video for a second. I'm going to go run some water in the house. Okay, we got the water running. And so that way we can at least make sure that the water's making it through the house. We'll try the other fixtures, but no, the line looked really good structurally. I think really the only issue we had is about 20 feet. That's where 20 to 23 feet was a stretch of roots that we saw earlier. But structurally, yeah, this clay looks like it's in really good shape. So a little bit of maintenance, whereas anymore, people tend to, some of the larger plumbing companies tend to see even that little bit of roots, and they recommend that you dig the line up and replace it. And there are permanent solutions like that, where you can do that, or you can line it for a large amount of money. But people have been, maintaining these lines by cleaning or chemical for a very, very long time. Clay has been in the ground they've been using clay for over 100 years on sewers, much longer on other things. And so it's a good material. It stands the test of time. You just have things like this where, the packing at the joints, and that's how you kind of look for it, is where the joints, when the roots are getting in at the joints, it's something where you should be able to just kind of, I would just have it cleaned once, maybe out to that 30-foot mark or so, and then just put some chemical treatment down it for a few years. And I'm thinking in 5 years or so, you have it cambered again, and you probably don't have a whole lot of root intrusion, because I believe a lot of these are coming from that the tree that is it's no longer there. I think a lot of these are probably remnants of that old tree. The heaviest spot is right here at 20 feet, where you can see it's starting to catch debris. You can see how the water's flowing well. And here we are at the opening. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to let that rest there, and then I'm going to go back in, turn this bathroom off, and then run the back bathroom just to make sure the water's making it all the way through. Okay, we're running the back bathroom. And this is the main line. This would come directly basically from the back bathroom in the master bedroom. And that master bath would run straight out right through the shared bathroom and straight out to this clean out. And the only other line would be coming over from the sink, the kitchen sink. And with the kitchen sink, you wouldn't even be able to go through the line anyway to inspect it, just because it's smaller diameter. And so I always like to make note, like I mentioned before with cast iron, the most common things we see are like laundry lines and sink lines that clog from grease and stuff and lint. And then on the interior lines, the big ones from the bathrooms are, like I mentioned, from excessive toilet paper or wet wipes. It's not super common, but it's more common with cast iron, like I mentioned. So you do want to kind of just watch out for those kind of things. Make sure you're not flushing stuff you're not supposed to. But I always like to make those notes, because most of the time when there's backups on houses, it's usually because somebody flushed something they shouldn't have. And with having the roots in there, once you get those cleaned, it should be pretty wide open. But yeah, overall the line looked great structurally. All the clay was intact. Again, we weren't able to inspect the probably 20 to 30 feet, probably 25 feet of line under from the bathroom out to this point. But we are seeing, obviously water's making it through at the same rate that it's being introduced. And so the line is open and flowing. And so just going to recommend a cleaning before taking occupancy. Maybe some couple years of yearly chemical treatments like Root X or something, and then have it rescoped in about 5 years if you're just to take a look at it to see if there's any root intrusion left, or if they even have continued to grow at all. So, but that's going to end the inspection at 210 Anton Ct in Centerville, Ohio.